feeling things and getting their signals and such, it's always that room that they always go to.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe that there's something else out there? Ponder that for a moment. I'm your host, Levi, and throughout this eerie expedition, I'll be taking you to some of the most haunted locations in and around the Black Hills. And tonight, we're starting our expedition off here in the haunted historic city of Deadwood. You may know Deadwood for its Wild West legends like Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, Seth Bullock, and many others. But are there still miners or Deadwood pioneers who call Deadwood home, who haven't left the cobbled streets, or the buildings on Main Street, or even some of the houses in the neighborhoods? Well, tonight, we're here to find that out. We're going to meet with our friend Troy. Troy is a Deadwood local and is also an employee of Saloon10, and he has some great ghost stories from what we've been told. So we're in the elevator right now where we are going up to the second floor to the Deadwood Social Club to meet with our friend Troy.
I'm Troy Gilfillan. I've worked at the Social Club for 20 years as a waiter. This is the apartment where Annie, our ghost, apparently died. She had been working in a brothel. She'd been abandoned by her husband. He had taken off. She wasn't a prostitute. She was the girl who cleaned up and made sandwiches, things like that. She had, in theory, was supposed to be going back to see her family back east. It was over the Thanksgiving holiday. Everyone thought she had taken a train, so when she didn't come back, nobody really looked for her. Sadly, Annie died, and they found her in bed. Like 2 weeks after she'd basically been missing, they started to smell something. So they came in and they found Annie. And that, in theory, is who our ghost is. Annie, when I first saw Annie, I was closing the restaurant. There had been a storm and the power had gone off a couple of times. We had decided to send everybody home. I was the last one here. And all of a sudden, I saw a lady in a blue dress and furs. And she was walking through the restaurant. And I went to stop her. I was like, Miss, sorry, I've already locked that door. You can't get out that way. I walked out and there was a spot where suddenly she was gone. And I walked up to this area and she was gone. And everywhere that she could go was locked. She couldn't go through one door, it was locked. She hadn't gone down the stairs, I would have seen her, and that door was locked and was still locked. And so she was gone. So I thought things were a little weird. I turned back around, started walking back through the restaurant, and all of the chairs from the tables suddenly were in the middle of the aisle, in the middle of the hallway. At this point, I figured somebody was messing with me. So I was like, hey, come on out, you're not gonna fool me, come on. And then the doors to our kitchen, which were spring-loaded saloon doors, just started swinging by themselves, and there was no one there. I rushed up, even looked around, there was nobody. At that point, I went downstairs and talked to the poker manager, Marty, who was very well associated with the family at the time, and asked him, and he's like, oh, you saw Annie, and you'll need to talk to Linda about that. I said, okay, as long as nobody's messing with me, I'll go up. I finished closing up. I came in the next day, and then I asked Linda Maxwell about it. She's sadly passed. And she told me the story about Annie. And this is the room where they found her body. This would be the kitchen. They'd have like a Murphy bed here, and this would be the actual living room. They had, 2 of the apartments had the little balconies. They could go out and overlook the city, or overlook Main Street. This was actually the room that I saw the chairs move and everything. This is where I saw Annie, and we went over here. At this point, the extra building, we've added a building since. But this door was locked and key locked. Down here was the only way she could have gone to get out. The theater door here was literally bolted, dead bolted on the inside, so nobody could get there. And at this point, this was filled with booths for when we would eventually expand and remodel. So there was no way she could go here either. So I came over, miss, figuring that, you know, maybe she'd gone down the stairs, maybe she was in the restroom. So I checked the men's room, knocked on the door, checked the ladies' room, nobody in there. This door was also locked at the time. This would have been part of the apartment. Now it's a breaker or a silent spinner. But, so she just disappeared. I figured, once I found out later on that this would have been part of her apartment, I figured she probably just went through here. This is kind of the story we went with later on. But this is the spot. Then, when I didn't find her, I said, hey, come on, who's messing with me? I came back, and we had tables at this point. All the way through here, we had a couple of tables over here, and all the chairs were lined up right in the middle of this hallway, right in a row. We used to keep our kitchen had swinging doors. You can kind of see where they used to be in the wall, and all of a sudden they just started swinging, and there was no one there. I ducked in, thinking maybe I'd catch somebody messing with me. There was no one. And that's when I went downstairs, and that's when I found out about Annie. We haven't seen Annie since we added the addition in 2007. Once we broke the wall, the hole in the wall right here, once they broke that in, no one's ever seen Annie since. It's kind of weird.
So there you have it. We heard our first ghost story on this eerie expedition. We talked to our friend Troy, and he took us into the Deadwood Social Club, where a infamous lady died. Our next stop is a haunted brothel above the streets of historic Deadwood. We're going to be meeting up with our friend Rose, who's going to tell us some mysterious stories and guide us through the brothel and tell us a little bit of history about it.
I'm Rose Fears. I'm the Communications Director for Deadwood History, Inc., and we are at the brothel Deadwood.
My name is Maurice Miller. Most people know me as Mo. I'm the lead investigator for Black Hills Paranormal Investigations, and we are at the brothel with Deadwood History right now. When we go to a location, be it residential or commercial, the first thing we're going to try to do is debunk, okay? So people say Satan and his loyal minions are in their attic or basement, and we're going to be looking for a squirrel nest or a rat nest or something first. Anything beyond that leaves us scratching our head. That's where we have to start digging deeper as far as the paranormal goes. You know, what is it? Why is it? Who, what, where, and why, basically.
What we concentrate at the Brothel Museum is on the 104-year history of prostitution in Deadwood. It was illegal the entire time while it existed here in Deadwood. But eventually the state came in 1980 and they closed the brothels for good. And what we do is cover the history from 1876 until 1980. And we take you through different periods of time through Deadwood's history and different eras and give you the background on what was happening here in Deadwood and what was happening with the women who worked at the brothels.
If you're just tuning in, we are exploring the old brothel in Deadwood.
This is a couple years ago. We had a film crew in here filming the HBI, and Deadwood History was kind enough to let us come in here. And I was standing here, right? And the rest of the team was on the wall out here, and we heard footsteps coming from down the hall, right? Anyway, you know how your personal space gets invaded, you know how it feels, right? Right on this side of me, something invaded my personal space, and I looked, and there was a person here close enough to kiss me. So I went flailing back, like startled with, without it. And people on my team come over to check me out, thought I had a heart attack and stuff, because they didn't see it. Here, way back we were investigating, we had chased something with EMF detectors into this room, and I ran a slam EVP session, and we got a female saying, "Get back," because we invaded her personal space. Now, is she still here or not? I don't know. Everybody on the team has this, as much as I hate it, it's an app, but it doesn't automatically, just because it's an app, it doesn't know, like ghost radars and stuff, like have to have a ghost for you. These are more for an investigator. But this one will talk if it picks up anything. Teresa, see.
Hey guys. There's a voice. Are you here? There's a voice right there.
And then I asked the picture, I said, Nita, this is Nita Salea. Her working girl name was Lee Turner, and I asked her if she was here, and this crossed, meaning yes. Okay. Nita, if you're here.
Now I heard that. Did you guys just hear that woo on the other hallway?
I did not. Is it something from Main Street coming up this way? Maybe? Nita, if you are in the brothel, can you point to where you are? No. She might be right by you, Levi. So, again, this is Nita Salea. Her working girl name, one of them was Lee Turner. And she spent a lot of time in this brothel, and so we're gonna try to chat with her right now. So I'm not moving my hands at all, okay? I'm holding these out as steady as I can, and we'll just talk to Nita. Nita, if you are in the brothel, can you point to where you are? Are you standing behind Levi? Levi, you have a guest.
He's like, don't tell me that.
Mo, why don't you come and ask a question?
I was going to say, if there is anybody in here that recognizes us, cross the rods, please. Now, if you don't mind using the wands or the rods, Can you point to the people you recognize, or the person you recognize? It's okay, I know that they're kind of hard to push. I understand. We'll make this one a little bit easier. You straighten out the rods for me. Thank you. If you recognize Rose, can you cross the rods?
If you recognize Mo, will you please cross the rods? Mo is the tall guy to my right. Red hair, the ginger.
Yeah, I've been in here before.
Hey Mo,
Yeah.
it's ice cold behind me.
Really?
My back is cold.
Are you standing behind Levi? If you're
Yeah, you can feel it.
if you're standing behind Levi, please cross
Is there
the
a fan?
rods.
Is there what?
Is there a fan?
No. And there's a vent, but nothing's coming out of it.
Yes. Standing behind you, Levi. The person standing behind Levi,
Standing beside you.
did you work in this
Standing
brothel?
beside you.
Mhm.
See, my arm hairs are going.
Yes. Okay, they worked in this brothel. Okay. Are you a female? If you're a female, please cross the rods. Did you work here in the 1970s? If you did, will you please cross the rods? Okay. If you worked here in the 1970s, please cross the rods. And I'm not moving at all, Levi. I'm completely... Did you like working here? Okay. So I'm going to ask you if you were a sex worker or a madam. So let's start with the first one. If you were a sex worker here, could you please cross the rods?
She was.
No? Okay. If you ran the brothel as a madam, would you please cross the rods? No? Were you
cleaning crews and stuff?
Yep. If you cleaned the brothel, would you please cross the rods? If you were a child that happened to be up here because your mother was here for some reason, please cross the rods. Were you just a woman that came up here to party after the bars closed in Deadwood? If that is what you are, could you please cross the rods?
Shirt.
She's right here.
Huh?
She's right here. Did you hear?
Sure.
Yeah, she grabbed.
Yeah.
She
She's right
grabbed
here.
She grabbed you.
She's right here.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe Mo or Levi can guess who you are. I'll let them ask some questions and then you can answer yes or no.
I'll let Mo ask. I'm not asking.
Yeah, okay, so you didn't work here, yes or no? No, you did not work here. So were you from downstairs? Maybe worked in the bar?
or whatever store it happened to be at the time. You could have worked in the store downstairs as well. Did you work in the store downstairs? I know a lady who used to deliver flowers to you. Did you used to deliver flowers to the brothel? Oh my God, I know who it is. I do.
Wow.
And I have chills going all the way up and down. We're in the madam's office right now, and this is where the madam would do her business. The girl would come in here and she would go to the dresser and she would write down what service that she was going to be doing with the gentleman caller. And then she would drop the money, which would probably be cash. Rarely did they accept checks, but sometimes they did if they were locals and they were well known. And then they'd drop it in the slot. And then at the end of the night, that madam took 50% and the woman had also received 50%. Standing there, Levi, right now. Yes.
Would you please do me a favor and point to where you're standing at so we can talk to you and we can face you?
Holy guacamole.
Are you okay with us being in here saying hi to you? Because we're only going to be here for a short while right now.
Do you enjoy having us here to interact with you? You really like Levi, don't you? It's kind of like a cat likes the person who's allergic to him.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Levi's not so fond of those, but they're very fond of him.
Yes. Can you see us as regular people or do you see us as a fog? Let me try that again. Do you see us in a fog?
Interesting. That's a good question.
It's just like when you see, like, not all the time, but like a lot of times you'll see apparitions that'll be just like a wisp of smoke kind of thing, and it's foggy.
Oh wow, I just thought I saw somebody walk by that doorway over there.
So did Rose actually see a lady just now in the doorway? Now, did she go towards the front of the brothel? Or the back?
And see, that's where I was leading to, was it seemed like it was going.
There's something back here. There's something back here. That was weird. But I don't know. I heard something back here while I was filming Rose.
So, if Mo got that right, the dowsing rods answered that she was headed this way, or it was headed this way, or whatever I possibly saw was headed that way. Yeah, we added flowers after. Are you that close?
Maybe. Let me see. Maybe.
Okay, come back
Yeah.
this way.
You got it.
Rose, you hear it?
What did it say?
Backward.
It said it again?
Yeah.
Swearing like a sailor.
I
I don't know
know.
if sailors really swear, so I don't know how fair that is.
That's not me.
That's on its own.
That's on its own.
Yeah.
So there's something over there that's causing that, not us.
Are you standing by that red pyramid? Are you standing by Levi? He's the one that has the, it's a camera with a bright light, bright white light, yes. Still liking Levi.
It's like, I'm not a big fan. I'm thinking, I think,
Milk.
No. Yours.
Oh, that's probably my phone again.
Oh, there's
Is that got
no,
air
but it's
coming out
super,
of it?
it's cool right here.
But is
but it's
there
a-
air coming out of that?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, a little.
okay. Thank you. That helps.
Yeah.
Levi won.
This is where we show interviews with people who had experiences with the women and the brothels, like people that like would sell them goods or deliver their paper or, you know.
Are you in this one? Okay, okay. If you don't know me, my name is Mo. Most people know me as Maurice. Actually, it's out the way around. And we're just going to be here for a little while. We just want to say hi. And if you want to say hi, you're more than welcome.
This is talking.
Is it?
Yep.
It shouldn't be.
Well, I heard a voice out there. Is Artlist in here?
No? How long would we get it though?
Most of that off. Is there only one spirit in this room with us?
I could have sworn I went to pick this up. Somewhere he goes, hey Maurice.
With us in this room?
Are you still hanging out in the chair?
Yes.
Are you going to stay in this room when we leave? It's okay for you. It is really cold right here. Did that just go brrrr?
Yeah, and I've heard it do that before.
So there you have it. The Deadwood Brothel was a place of, well, many activities, but some apparently are still happening. Rose, thank you, and we are on to our next stop, the historic Fairmont Hotel.
Okay, I'm Stephen Peterson. I am the tour manager here at the Fairmont Oyster Bay Brothel and Ghost Tour. This room is very intriguing. We actually have an old story about this room here. It's about a young lady named Benny Fowler. She actually helped a man commit suicide unintentionally because his name was Prentice Bernard. He actually came in here, fought with Benny. She was pushing him out because he was obsessed with her. fighting anybody who even mentioned her name. And she was pushing him out. He tried to shoot her, but ended up shooting himself. He actually landed right over there. Right there in that little hallway. Now this building was the European Hotel in 1893. That's when this became a hotel. Later on it would become the Fairmont, but it was designed to be an upper class hotel that eventually had to turn itself into a brothel. And the reason is because they weren't making enough money, because being in the Deadwood Badlands, nobody of higher status, which is what this building was designed for, actually wanted to risk their lives coming in here. So they actually had to shut it down. They turned it into a brothel. And then the death rate was really high because people would end up shooting themselves, people would end up shooting each other, getting into fights, throwing them out the windows. And this is good. This is one of the rooms they actually shot out or threw one of the guys out the window.
I always heard, if I can ask here, about a woman committing suicide at one of these rooms.
Third floor.
Third floor.
We'll get there.
Okay. Sure.
You're talking about when we get up to the third floor. This room is probably one of the most intriguing rooms on the entire tour for a very specific reason. You see, we actually found out that this room harbors a secret. And the secret about this room is this room contains one of two different portals inside this building.
Oh, let me see that picture. Okay.
Now, this right here is the portal which comes down right here. This is also the room where Dead Files and Ghost Adventures actually did a lot of investigating. And Amy actually spent a lot of time in this room cleansing the building. So, it's very important. And then there's Dora Dufran, one of the very famous madams here in Deadwood, probably my favorite story to talk about. She came up with the word cat house. Very cool story behind that. But also, when we get in this room, we actually talk about an event that actually happened to Ron. You know Ron Russo fairly well.
I know Ron.
So you probably remember his heart attack.
Yep.
But I don't know if you've ever actually witnessed why. And this is partially why he had that heart attack. It's what's known as a spirit spike. Now what this is high concentration of spiritual energy due to activity of entities around. So when entities are moving a lot, creating basically an electrical charge in a spiritual form, it has to find a release, just like electricity does. And that would end up happening to Ron up here on the second floor. We used to have a big king-size bed right here. And he used to sleep up here, and he actually came across a female entity wearing a white dress that was hovering over him one day. And he felt that entity touching him, pushing down on his chest. So Ron experienced a lot of this building as well. Now, this room right here is where we started everything. This actually used to be where the steps used to be, the grand staircase. This is where it actually came up when it was actually a high-class hotel. This is also the room where one of the gentlemen actually hung themselves. So, and that happened in this room here. So they actually executed themselves here. So we did that. Now we're gonna come in here. We actually caught a little girl on the tour who actually died in one of the Deadwood fires. Her name was April. And April, her and her mom got separated in a fire, and she actually passed away in one of the Deadwood fires. And one of the rafters actually landed on her and burned off one of her arms and one of her legs. And we've actually caught her picture here several times. I'll make sure I grab the right one for you, because some of them are really kind of creepy. And every time we see April, she looks like this.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to see on this picture that. You can see the eyes.
And I will
there.
send you the
Yeah.
picture. You guys can actually
Yeah.
put them on your side or anything like that. It's here,
Oh my
so
gosh, it's just like I saw something running.
here.
Yeah.
Also,
Did you ever have issues yourself?
I had dreams, but that's about it.
Yeah, because some people don't.
The two things that have happened to me is I have been attacked twice.
Okay.
One of them, we'll talk about it up this hallway here. I'll explain how this happened. So when we were in this hallway here, which is the main hallway in this building, we went to the first room. We had a guy on the tour, and he was he was having fun. But when we went to the first room, he became very timid. When we went to the second room, not only was he timid, but he started becoming a little aggressive. And by the time we stepped out of the room, he was so aggressive, he actually threatened me, said he was gonna kill me because I drugged him. I did this because I wanted him to believe. And I'm like, dude, I met you like 5 minutes ago. And he's like, no, you did this to me, you wanted me to do this. So I'm like, you know what, dude, either chill out, whatever. And I walked away. And when I came out here, I was talking with a gentleman named Colorado. I call him Colorado because I don't remember his real name, but I remember he was from Colorado. And the guy charged me down this hallway here. And when I went to step back, I hit this lip right here, and I ended up falling backwards. And when he came flying by me, Colorado picked him up and threw him up against the wall here. And yeah, we actually had to escort him off. And when we talked to him after the tour, he didn't remember anything happening to him. That's one of the two possessions we've actually had here. I'm not going to talk about the other one. But we also have had entities try to possess me. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to show you the two pictures of what is known as blending. Now, have you guys heard of blending? What blending is when the entity tries to blend with you, but they can't, mostly because of an outside force. You know, some people say these crystals, some people say these chairs. Me, it's my love, my belief in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But when they try to blend with you, you'll actually start looking like you're being erased. Now, this is the first of two pictures, so don't think this is just one. This is actually the first of two pictures. And this is the first of the two pictures. And the second of the two pictures is actually what we consider the final part of the blend. This is as far as the entity could go. But what's really cool about this one is that to this day, I'm still debating whether the entity was female or not, because they put me in high heel shoes.
What the? I don't know if I can show that.
Don't worry, I'll send you the pictures if need be.
What the heck? That's crazy.
So yeah.
Okay, that's you?
This is me. This is actually me giving a tour back in 2020.
They put you in high heel shoes.
I thought my legs looked pretty sexy. I guess I was right. So as we move more this way here, because we are going to give you guys a chance to film in here and everything. The main focal points. Now this room is the big room. This was actually the sample room. So this is this is where the women and men would actually decide what they wanted to do, where you got to choose from the brothel menu and everything, or decide to negotiate. And that's where you do that all here. So this is where you decide, hey, I want to do this, and this is what it's going to cost, or you know, I'm going to choose from this brothel menu at this price. This is where you made the agreement, you head down, and you fulfilled it. So that's what happened here. Actually used to sign licenses of prostitution, and they were good for 3 months. They cost between $125 and $250. And this one was actually for Diamond Lils in Tombstone, Arizona. And it was good from March until June of 1881. We actually use this as one of our stories about a young lady named Violet who was actually trapped on the 3rd floor. And her son and daughter-in-law, when they came to help her out, they would steal stuff from all the rooms. And eventually, they were banned from here until Violet's husband died. And when he died, she brought the son and daughter-in-law here to help, but they were greedy. And when Violet started having walking problems, they decided to lock her up on the 3rd floor, where she would lose her mind. she would start throwing things and screaming until the point where she couldn't be controlled. Nobody could talk to her. And then eventually she had to go to a nursing home where they tried to take care of her. She passed away a few months later.
How old was she, you think?
We don't know, but we do know that we actually have caught pictures of her here. The interesting thing about this picture is when you look at it, you'll actually see the walker inside the picture, because she always has a walker every time she appears. And if you look directly behind it, you'll actually see her holding on to it.
Okay.
So you can see her right there. But the coolest thing is we've actually caught, and this is where a couple of the really cool pictures are gonna come in, because my favorite picture in this room is actually of this one right here. And the reason this one's so cool is you don't see anything. You don't see.
The mirror?
Yeah, but you know, hold on. So you see that there's nothing. That you brought into this room, because this is actually the one room where we actually watched somebody get attacked and caught it live.
Who's she being attacked? Oh, her neck. She's getting strangled.
Now, if that ain't interesting enough, we actually found out, because this is the room where Maggie Broadwater threw herself out the window directly behind me. But we found out that if you actually zoom in on this lady's neck, her name's Cindy, you'll actually see the bloody fingers of Maggie Broadwater around her neck.
So, that is the story that I know. All right, let's go to the scariest place that nobody ever would want to go to.
So there is a spirit up here, we call him the Frenchman, and there's something very unique about him. That gentleman would be right here. Now, we call him the Frenchman because the only thing we really know about him is that he was from France, coming out here to go to California. Now, unfortunately, while he was in our building, he was shot by a stray bullet through the back of the head, and thus he died. Now, the thing that's interesting about the spirit, especially with this picture, is that you notice that it looks like it is taken during the middle of the day, but there's no flash marks. That is because this spirit right here has the ability to create this aura. In fact, every time we've caught this spirit, it does exactly that. So, that spirit I just showed you, I've been chased out of here. And what happened is Steven had actually asked me to come up here and make sure that there was nobody up here after the tours. So I took his flashlight, I came up here. Now I checked the main part of the second floor, I checked down here, I checked the third floor. All was fine and well, but I had a feeling I needed to recheck the second floor, so I decided to recheck. Now the thing about that is that I decided to recheck it, and upon doing so, I finished out there, I came back here, I went down there, checked the side, there's nobody up here for sure. So I decided that I could leave safely, but upon doing so, I would be walking over here in this small hallway and would hear something to the effect of from behind me. Now this obviously gave me a bit of a scare because it's something very loud, it's something very thuddy, and it's very unexpected. So when I heard that, I decided to recheck the area to make sure that nothing had fallen over, maybe I missed somebody, or heaven forbid, I had been delusional or there really was a spirit. Now, after rechecking the entire area again, I noticed that nothing had fallen over, and that there was nobody up here. So that leaves delusion or a spirit. Now, to recheck this, I would be walking out of here, and again, I would get probably a little bit closer to the door, and I'd hear the same thing again, and I would determine that it was a spirit from behind me, and it did not want my presence here. So I decided to calmly, or try to calmly, walk out of here. Upon that, would hear these footsteps behind me. Now, when I got to the main door over there, I could not compose myself anymore, and I decided to run. As I am running, I can hear these footsteps running behind me, and they are keeping pretty good pace. And I'm terrified at this point, but when I get to the end of the hallway, I decided to turn around to make sure that they weren't, maybe I was just crazy, but I could still hear them running towards me, but there was no one there. And after seeing that, I decided to run down the staircase. I handed my dad my flashlight back and I said, listen, I'm not going back upstairs. You couldn't pay me to do so, but as you can see, I'm a ghost tour guide now. Last room. Zach and his crew were actually here, I think in 2014. They were shooting a special for Deadwood. They were shooting at 4 different locations, our building being one of them. And while he was here doing his investigation, he was doing some research, he runs into a local by the name of Channing. Now, Channing is also one of the people who's obsessed with the paranormal and happens to be with our building at that time. He runs into Zach, the two of them are having this wonderful conversation together, and Zach's like, you know what, you're a really cool dude, you should totally do a tour. And it's like, okay, well, sounds good. Well, he happens to give him one piece of advice that would end up costing us $160,000. No matter what happens up here, no matter how big, no matter how small, just keep pushing, okay? No big deal. Well, Channing comes up here and he's doing his investigation. He's on the 2nd floor at this time, and he runs into 2 spirits. The first is a little girl by the name of April, and we'll actually show you guys those pictures here in a little while. But he runs into April and he's trying to get a response out of her because he hears her crying out for help, but he doesn't get anything. He would, however, run into a very angry gentleman telling him to get out, and we would actually do some he would do some research on this particular specific person and come to find out that it was none other than Jack McCall himself. Now, from what we understand, Jack was not terribly excited by the fact that he was up here because he was one of the firmer believing spirits that the upper floors were meant for the dead and not the living. So while our friend is trying to do his investigation and invoke a response, something would actually happen to Channing. Channing had a cross necklace on him and it would get torn completely off. Now, for most people, that's a pretty indicating sign that they need to get out and leave now. However, because of the single piece of advice that he was given, he says, yeah, no, this isn't enough, I'm just gonna keep pushing. Well, he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and one of the windows on our 2nd floor actually blows out into the street. Now, this is what decides for him to go leave. He runs out, he's done with it, and coincidentally enough, when Zach came here to do his investigation, he was up there on the 3rd floor, he was actually in this room. Now, while he's in this room, one of the spirits, in a very similar fashion, causes the window to blow out.
Well, we have just left the historic Fairmont brothel, and now we are on to our next stop to meet with our friend Randy, who's going to tell us some ghost stories inside of what used to be historic Saloon number 10, the very spot where Wild Bill Hickok was assassinated in the 1800s.
name is Randy. We're here at the Wild Bill Bar, the original site of the Saloon number 10 where Wild Bill got shot. And we're a little haunted down here. One of the stories is when the first owners took over this, the people who own it now, when they walked in the building, they didn't know how to turn the lights on. And so she yelled out, "How do I turn on the lights?" And all the lights in the building came on. I thought it was kind of curious. I thought maybe they might be voice operated. So I told her, "Did you yell lights off?" She goes, "They didn't shut off." She had to go around and find all the light switches to shut them off. Another story I know, the ghosts in this building like to smack people on the back and push them around a little bit, kind of like your rock throwing stuff. Another story is a gentleman was down here having his shifter after he closed the bar. He felt like there was something staring at him over his back, so he picked up his camera, took a few photos over his back, got 4 guys standing in the background. So we're a little haunted here, like all of Deadwood. Folks, we are at the Wild Bill Bar, as close as we can get to the original Main Street 1876, which is in the basement of the building, toward the back of the building. And the reason we're down here is this is as close as we can get to the Deadwood level 1876, with being that direction, being the location of the thoroughfare that ran through Deadwood in 1876, being Old Broadway. The town has been destroyed 5 times before 1900. We've had 3 floods, 2 fires. So there's not a whole lot left of the town. The first fire is the fire of 1879, burns down the entire town except for 2 buildings. So that's all we got that dates back to when Wild Bill was here.
And behind me, what you guys just saw was the original location of Saloon number 10, where Wild Bill Hickok was killed. Is it haunted? Who knows? But that wraps up our adventures in the historic city of Deadwood. And now we are moving this haunted historic tour to Leeds, South Dakota. Well, we have left Deadwood. Our next stop on this eerie expedition is Leeds, South Dakota. We're going to meet with a few different individuals and explore a few different areas that are said to be some of the most haunted places in the Black Hills, right here in Leeds, South Dakota. And our first stop is the historic Homestake Opera House, one of the most haunted places in the entire city of Leeds, if not the entire Black Hills. This is truly a haunted place.
What's up, Todd?
Good to see you.
Thanks for having us. Levi's over here getting his camera ready to go. And we're gonna go, I don't know, just hear some stories about the Opera House here. I love the Opera House. I've done many plays here. This is just one of my favorite places. So happy to be here. And then also really excited to go to the pool because I've never been at the pool before.
Well, we're gonna take you to the pool.
So tell me, we were just kind of talking a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the...
Built in 1914, opened officially August 31st of that year, and was in continuous use from August 31st, 1914 all the way until the fire in 1984, at which time the pool was officially closed down. The chandelier that hangs over the stage fell through the floor during the fire and hit the pool with such force that it actually cracked the pool from one side to the other, so it's no longer a usable facility for us. So that's now officially been capped. We have office space over it, but when it comes to the paranormal at the historic Homestake Opera House, it's the pool that people are really drawn to. That's where stuff happens.
Where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so what type of stuff happens?
So, there's a couple of stories that I've heard. I've only been here for 3 months, and I'm sure there's a lot better stories out there. But the one that I heard almost immediately upon going down into the pool was that oftentimes you'll hear a little girl, 4 or 5-year-old girl, splashing in the shallow end of the pool. and people have even spoken of seeing her in a white swimsuit like they wore in the old days, with kind of the skirt attached to it, and giggling and playing in the water and splashing about. The other one that I hear about a lot is people that have been down in the pool area and actually had rocks or little pieces of stone thrown at them and hit them while they're down there, which frankly I'd be like, I'm out. I'm done.
That's exactly what I'm thinking right now. Is if I get hit with a stone down there tonight, I'm out.
Right, I'm just like, I'm not gonna mess with that. Above the pool, which is now office space, there's also the story people tell that a paranormal group had come in to spend the night in the Opera House, and they set up a microphone in there and left the room and came back later to check on it. And when they came back to check on it, they heard in the microphone very clearly, "Judgment Day is coming." And then they could hear something not walk away, but kind of move away, swoosh away, which is again at the point where I check out. That's the point where I'd be like, no, I think I've had enough. I'm going home now.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Todd Jones, the executive director of the Homestake Opera House. Oh, sorry.
But don't leave me back.
I'm excited. I like the costume area.
These little mirrors.
So there are stories about when the paranormal group was here. One of the ladies moved was moving clothes out of the way like this, and literally felt, I suppose you call it an energy. And there were two people in the room at the time, and all their hair just like stood up on end, and then they raced out of here pretty fast. So that would have been fun. This is the costume area.
This is such a cool room though down here.
It is.
I've looked at many costumes down here.
Alright you guys, right now we are in the back of the historic Lead Opera House. Should I say the historic Homestake Opera House in Lead, South Dakota. If you see anything spooky, it might just be spooky.
Show you that I am part of the Opera House crew here. Let's see where the posters are. Oh.
We'll make her come down by herself.
Hold on. Don't leave me. I know the Opera.
So this is the pool. It was an above ground heated pool, which would have been very rare in 1914. So in order to access it now, because it was capped, we had to cut a hole through the side so we could enter in. So when you pass through this wall, you're in the pool.
I can't believe I've never been here.
This is the deepest part of the pool that we're in right now. This is where the chandelier would have hit and cracked.
Oh yeah.
The little girl likes to splash right over there in that corner.
Yep.
What is it?
It's the same thing she said.
Well, it doesn't look very entertaining. It looks scary. got this. He's going in.
He's going for it.
I'm gonna push you in. For all the scaring you've done. In the other side of the pool. I thought you were gonna run up and say it's just entertainment. There's a chair. There's a chair. There's a chair. Chair with a cruise light on it? What are the initials?
What was that? Get the fuck out of here!
Run!
What was that?
That was bad.
What was that?
I don't know.
What was
but
that?
I saw it crashing down on you. Was there anything back there?
What was that?
I have no idea. What'd you do?
100% he didn't do anything. No.
What was that?
Is there anything else? I don't know, but I caught that all on camera. Did anybody see that? Anybody who's watching this? Because there was nothing there, was there? Behind you? I'm just, the only reason I'm okay is because
If you want to go back there, we can go back there.
Because you gotta go.
Why do I have to go?
Let's go.
Because it was funny because it was right when I said, what are the initials? Remember how you said there's only one-way traffic?
So which way we go? We going this way or that way?
This way.
You made me leave you when you said there's only one-way traffic. It's yellow in the face.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to go down here again.
I'm scared too, but hold on. I gotta be in the middle.
No, I'm not going all the way back there again.
Where was it? Oh my
We
god.
gotta pick the beer up.
Oh, you gotta go back. Oh, the beer's even down. There's a lot of people watching this, and you guys just missed how terrifying this was. Just, what? It's a good thing I had that shot of tequila the last place, because now I'm giggling. Okay. Oh my god.
Ain't nothing there.
Are you sure? Is there anything against that wall?
Nothing.
If we watch my video, it's like a.
That is such an empty
white.
hallway.
Oh my god, dude.
It's so empty. There's just not.
Yeah, go back there then.
Go back there. Go back there. You gotta do it. He was all the way with his back turned to that, and that's when it came jumping out at him. And I saw whatever the heck it was. I thought something was falling on you. I thought a whole wall was collapsing.
Go back there.
Why are you goading me into doing this?
Because you have no issue. Take this with you. Ah, stop it!
See, that's what I'm worried about. I get back there and then you guys take off.
No, it was back there.
Take off, you take your lights. I'm like,
It was back there.
Why do I have to be back there?
He's going. That's your new director is going. I'm getting. Hold on, I will get it taken here. What was it for this? Now turn around. and say, you gotta look at those initials. And I said, what were the initials?
Look at the initials.
There. CL.
All right, I'm done.
I'm done too.
I'm done. I'm done.
We're done. We had enough of a scare. Oh my God, you and I ran up these stairs faster than anything. Levi is yellow and sweating in the face.
Nope, I'm not doing that. Talk about it.
Here's what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to go back and watch this live stream from about 10 minutes ago because some crazy shit happened. What are we doing? Moving down the hill?
No. This is like a sub basement. Basement in the basement.
There's a chair down there.
Why is there always a chair?
There's a chair.
No, totally.
Nope. Nope.
Why is there always a chair down there? Look, there's always a chair in every room that we go into. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
We like our
There's one
specters to
chair.
be comfortable. Usually,
Yes.
it's like, it seems like they like to eat a beer.
I dare you, right, to go sit on that chair. And we'll watch.
Hold on. Did you set this out?
No, I didn't. I did not.
I dare you to go sit on that chair. I was just worried if a ghost comes here, I'm gonna fall over here. Go sit on the chair.
No. Yes.
I can't get up the stairs fast enough if I'm screaming.
Chair, those stairs are not running upstairs.
No, stairs are fair dying. It
Yeah.
busts the face up.
That's-
Yeah.
Crush your feet.
No. No, we're not going down there. No, you can go, Sarah. Sarah does haunted chair now. Go.
I can't get back up.
Sarah does haunted chair. The next live screen is going to be Sarah does I'm a chicken.
Sarah does a
It
chicken.
only seems fair. We both had to do the hallway.
Guys, I was in that.
Sarah, just do it.
Was sit in that chair? But what are you guys gonna do if something comes at me?
Pray.
Listen.
Yeah, if you hear that, it's a road. Do you hear the road? There's things that automobiles.
Should I?
Just go down the ladder. is what you
Should
do.
I? Oh my God. Let me ask my followers. Should I go sit in that chair? Show the chair. Show the light on that chair. Should I go sit on that chair by myself? Let's see what they say. Should I go sit on that chair by myself?
Put the lights off.
No. I'm scared. What I just saw happen to him,
So
he's
weird.
going. Hey,
It's
Todd's
so
going.
weird that you guys are so chicken.
We're chicken. Todd's going.
Like, nobody's hiding here today.
Oh, even Robin's saying, do it, girl. Todd's going.
Why is there a chair down here?
That's what I'm saying.
Why? Why?
Put a light shining in your face.
In my face?
So we can see it. There's where he's at, the chair. And we're up here on the stairs. Oh my God.
Holy crap! Look at that! Look at that!
What? Oh, it says. Well, I already said earlier. It says the word "fuck" right there, and then I just heard a growl. Did you hear that?
No.
You didn't hear the growl?
No.
No, it was like.
Okay.
I'm just really scared if I fall because.
That's on Sarah hearing things.
It was true. Sorry, I didn't get a being jump out and grab me like you did. How's the chair?
It's nice. Pretty comfortable, actually. You should try it.
The chair.
Sarah, do it. We're
Oh
right
my
here.
God. Okay, fine.
There's another creep down hallway.
Can you stay down here with me though? Because if I get scared, I'm gonna grab
So
on.
now you're gonna go down creepy hallway?
No, is that the hallway out of it?
Yeah, but but this one has a little hole that leads through the one you were just in.
Stop doing that. I don't like that.
I'm sorry, I'm
Stop
trying
it.
to get through life right now. Look at this old thing just over here.
Hi, I'm Todd Jones, the Executive Director of the Homestake Opera House, and you're down in the lowest basement of this building, well below the stage, long way down.
Oh, I just saw Levi doing crazy stuff. Okay, go to the chair, guys. Get your hips around. We don't know why the chair is here. Stay there, just don't leave me. I just keep thinking everybody's possessed all of a sudden, and I'm just gonna try. Here we go, sit on the chair.
No. Nope. No.
Everyone is doing it. Go down the hall.
Everybody's
Not
going
going
down the hallway. No,
We can all go together.
Gosh, who the frick loves Coors?
You're on the other side.
Is there another cord?
There's another Coors.
There's another beer.
On the other side of that hallway. Should be right through that hallway.
So it jumped through
There's
the
another beer.
It jumped through the damn shower at you. That was the other side of the wall. So they jumped through the shower at you. Tonight, they like Levi.
Don't ask me what that is, but it's got some,
Oh, crap.
it's got some creep factor to it, doesn't it?
I'm getting
I swear, there's another frickin'.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh, shh. Have you ever seen that?
Nope. Do not try to
Oh, listen.
Okay, let's go.
Radio, oh wait, show that light on this. Radioactive and all the other stuff that it says over there. Do not try to escape. There's my purse. I don't like how. Is this where he went? No. It's just here, show the light. This is all in sack. Oh my god! I saw your
Yeah, okay.
I saw
All
the
right,
mirror.
I'm all done.
Go in the costume room for 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm done.
Don't push me at the. Levi pushes me at the back and runs. So don't ever be on a team with Levi because he throws you in the back and runs. Back on the stage.
Okay.
This always freaked me out up here. Going up there, I don't know why. All the sound checks happen.
Like a family thing. Families don't die together.
Feels like a family thing.
And here I go again. I'm in the back. But Levi's getting all the crazy action.
Okay, don't go to the last step. You got to step off the long step here. Step
Feeling
off
like I can't breathe.
this step.
Oh! No, I'm hearing footsteps behind me. 100%. I don't mean to push you. For real. There's footsteps behind me and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Yeah. Well, it's like my chest really instantly tightened up and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And then I heard footsteps behind me on the stairs. And then I about pushed Levi over to the side.
All right, yeah, I'm all done now.
You keep saying that.
All right, so we just finished up at the historic Homestake Opera House. And our next stop is the Stamp Mill Inn. This is said to be super haunted. The rumor and the story goes that a old law official was killed outside of this establishment back in the 1900s. So we are going to go meet up with our friend Bob, who is going to tell us a few stories about the stamp mill and even show us the upstairs that used to be an old sporting house.
Hi, I'm Bob Poole, the owner of the Stamp Mill Inn at 305 West Main Street in Leeds, South Dakota, an 1895 building where we have historic hospitality. Here, one of which was that one of the former staff members, there were a bunch of coffee cups sitting on the end of the bar here, and all of a sudden, late at night when they were closing up, they started dropping off one by one. So they thought that this was the bartender who has had apparently in the past had a history of letting his presence be known. The third floor used to be a boarding house, and it also was a brothel. Now in Deadwood they were very conspicuous with their brothels, but up here they're a little more pious. So they were around town, but you had to know where they were, and they were kind of hidden. On the third floor, the ladies that worked up there were called seamstresses. So the third floor was referred to as the seamstress floor. And that's where apparently there's also the story of one of the seamstresses having gotten roughed up quite a bit by one of her clients, and that she still comes and visits. And we can go up on the third floor here because they were people who were seeking out to see if there were spirits in places. And they had one of those machines, I don't know what it's called, where if the spirits are around, they can somehow electronically respond through it or whatever, whatever that is. And they actually rented one of the suites upstairs, and we have Victorian suites. They rented one, and they brought their machine, and they also brought their sister, and she corroborated the story to me the other day in here, and she stayed in the other suite, and she was kind of scared about them wanting to see if there were ghosts there or spirits, that she left her door open. But anyway, they said that they turned the machine on and then they got distracted in an amorous way, and the machine went silent. And then subsequently, when they were finished being distracted amorously, the machine went back on. And they said it really creeped them out a little bit. But this is first-hand account from a local merchant here who rented the suites up here.
And then the door closed, right?
And then the sister who was in the other suite, she left the door open because she was scared. And she said in the morning when she came, woke up, the door was closed. Who closed it? So those are some of the ghost stories here, but this place has a long tradition. It was built in 1897, so you can imagine a lot of souls have come through here, live and or maybe otherwise. So we're coming up here to the second floor, which has been remodeled into Victorian suites, which we rent out. If you'd like to see them, they're named after the town's benefactors. This one's called the Hearst Suite after George and Phoebe, who actually created the Homestake mine. The other one's called the Halloran, and Mr. Halloran built this building. So one of the tragedies that happened at this building was back in 1938, a local policeman was shot and killed. Excuse me. and he was shot and killed he died right down here at the bottom of the stairs with about 7 or 8, I think almost 9 bullets in him. He was shot by a man who he had beaten up severely previously, who came back with vengeance. And after that, the hospital was across the street at that time, and they took the policeman over to the hospital, and he died about 5 minutes later. They finally caught the criminal the next day. He was tried, but eventually, instead of getting convicted of first-degree murder because he stalked the man, that would be premeditated, instead he came back with a manslaughter conviction, and in a large part it was because of the history of this policeman beating up criminals, which is a sad thing, but that is what the jury decided it upon. So he got out after 12 years. We don't know what happened to him, but he did survive the policeman.
Apparently behind the wallpaper on the left side there's bullet holes.
Yeah.
And then outside there's bullet holes.
We keep the ghost locked up there. We're going to go up and say hi. Come on up, there are lights.
Up here. The door.
There we go.
Won't unlock.
What's that?
I said the door wouldn't unlock.
No, it wouldn't unlock at first.
Oh gosh. Oh, you turned off the light.
Oh, I turned off the lights.
I'm already scared.
How's that? Here, let me there's a light in this room.
Oh, you know what? Lights off. Lights scary.
Floor of the Stamp Mill Inn, and in history there was a boarding house here, but also in conjunction with the boarding house there was a bordello, and there were ladies who worked up here in the sex trade, and because up here in Lead as compared to Deadwood, they were a little more inconspicuous, shall we say, about these ladies of the evening or soiled doves or whatever, and so they were referred to as seamstresses, the ladies that worked up here. And they worked in these rooms, and as I said, for a goodly portion of time, I'm told it was a bordello. One of the seamstresses, one of the ladies of the evening, apparently, from what stories that people locally have been telling me, that one of them was, as you can imagine, at one point roughed up, brutally beaten, and that there have been accounts of her revisiting here and gone into the next level as a ghost, I suppose, as a spirit, that she still frequents this place occasionally.
So there you have it. Bob tells a pretty good ghost story, doesn't he? Our next stop is the Lead Art and Recreation Center. It used to be a hospital back in the day, and rumor has it there was more than a few deaths there.
Good evening, my name is Terry Smith and I'm part of Lead Historic Preservation. We are currently at the Homestake Recreation Center, actually the Arts and Crafts Center, Lead Deadwood Arts and Crafts Center, which is part of the Recreation Center itself. This is kind of an appropriate night for us to be here. In 1918, this place was converted to a temporary or an emergency hospital for all the pandemic patients. Matter of fact, that occurred on October 22nd, 1918. That was 106 years ago tonight. So 106 years ago, there were 14 patients that were brought in, and of the 14 patients, that was in the morning, and by the end of the day, there was 40 patients that were being handled by the Recreation Center. Over the next couple of days, and this is really a tough time in Lead, because over the next couple of days, there were quite a few more patients that were brought in here, and there were also more deaths that occurred. As I said, on the 22nd is when the hospital opened up. The first deaths that occurred here occurred 2 days later. One was a Jack Davies, who was a 45-year-old Homestake miner, and another one was Katie Zuko. Katie Zuko was a homemaker who lived on Railroad Avenue, and when she died, she left behind a 14-year-old daughter by the name of Angelina. Angelina lived in Lead for many, many years after her mother's death. Her father, on the other hand, went back to Italy after her death. Now that was, again, when you think about the time frame, today, 106 years ago, is when this hospital was created, or it was built. This hospital remained active as an emergency hospital until the 18th of November. And at that point in time, there was at least 100 patients that were in this hospital and 25 people died. So we're in the exact area where those 25 people would have been patients, of where those 40 beds were located. And again, over that 3 or 4 week period is when 25 people perished. Yeah, because initially what I was told was there were no deaths that took place at the emergency hospital. And as I started looking at it, I could see that Kate Zucco was one of the first to die. But again, over the next week, between here and Halloween, there were 10 people that died. Matter of fact, on Halloween, there was 3 deaths that took place. 2 were teachers. They acted as nurses after the school closed down several weeks earlier. A lot of the teachers became voluntary nurses, and what was pretty cool about that was that in those days a lot of people wanted to help. So the next day after the hospital opened up, 73 women and girls volunteered to become nurses and help the sick that was inside the hospital here, as well as a lot of them went back to their local homes and did a lot of work for them as well.
Okay. Have you ever been in this building at night by yourself?
No.
Or with 2 other people? I have not either. I have downstairs at the Opera House in the pool, but not in this area. And I am the board president at the Lead Deadwood Art Center, the building now, what it is. But every time I walk in here, no joke, even right now I'm getting chills, no joke, I have this weird feeling.
So there you have it. The historic recreation center here in Lead, South Dakota. Is it haunted? Did people die there? Is it just a story? Who knows? But thank you, Terry, for sharing that. Now we have one more stop on this spooky expedition. We're off to Keystone, South Dakota. So far on our spooky ghost tour, we have seen Lead, we've seen Deadwood, we've been inside some of the haunted brothels, we've been under the streets of Lead and under the Homestake Opera House. Tonight we are on the other side of the Black Hills. See, behind me is the sign for Big Thunder Gold Mine. We hear that this is one of the most haunted places in the Black Hills. So tonight, we are going to go underground inside of the historic Big Thunder Gold Mine and hear some ghost stories. There's many legends about the Big Thunder Gold Mine. One of them is that there's a monster. Another one is that there's still miners working, and I mean there's many others. But tonight, here at the Big Thunder Gold Mine, we're going to hear some good stories and we're going to maybe see some ghosts. So we're going to go inside now. We're going to go meet with our tour guide, and she's going to tell us more.
My name is Lizzie Parson, and we're at Big Thunder Gold Mine. So one of my first days of being trained to be a tour guide here, we have always been told there's activity back here, there's ghosts back here, and the guy that was training me, Joe, he warned me of this. And we heard like weird stuff once in a while we were doing the tours throughout the day. But we had a couple dogs come on tour and they start barking in that corner over there. And he gives me this knowing look and we just kind of shrug it off and they will not stop barking over there. Well, later on, we had another group come in and they had a little girl. And we turn off the light during the tour to show how dark it is in here and the candles, all that fun jazz. And as we turn on the light, the little girl says, "Who's the guy in the corner?" And without missing a beat, Joe says, "Was he wearing suspenders?" "Yeah." "Oh, that's just our ghost." And we just goes on throughout his day. And the rest of us are like, "Excuse me, back up." So that was like my first introduction to the ghosts here. But we always see things in that corner, usually just a white blob. Sometimes I see something scurry over there, but I always, almost every time I do a tour, see at least one thing. And I have to pretend I don't. We have had multiple paranormal investigations in here. One of the first ones, we had a group come in and there's so many voices back here. And I think that's partially because this was a storm shelter. So we had a paranormal investigation come in here and they were asking, who are the tour guides here? Who are some people you know? And they kept repeating my name, Lizzie. I'm like, oh, hey, that's slightly creepy. I've never met these people before in my life and their boxes saying my name. And the voice kept telling us to do a shootout box. And we stopped, I'm like, oh my gosh, during my tours, there's a box in the mill I always want to know the story behind. So we went over there and we got some crazy activity over there.
At this very moment, we heard what sounded like moaning coming from behind the wall.
Right there. Here.
Yeah, it sounded like a moaning, right?
Yeah. Did anybody get hurt in the cave in that time?
Yeah, this is where I heard that cough.
This is where I see almost every day I do tours, I see something dart across. Here? Right here.
That was sketchy though.
That was, yeah, because it was like right behind me.
I'm a little baby, so I'm really scared of it.
This is from the Holy Terror. And it was actually in a robbery. You mostly can tell because of all the bullet holes. But these ones have always caught my attention. These ones are going out of the box. So on my tours, I'm always saying I want to know the story behind this. But we don't know it, honestly. The ghosts led us here with one of the investigations. And according to them, I believe it's a Benny Hunter is attached to this box. And apparently he was thrown in here and tried to shoot his way out. According to the voice boxes. Whether or not it's true, we don't know. But what's interesting is Jenny likes to show up every time. And she butts in and cuts him off every single time. She'll tell us things about the fire, how apparently she burnt everything down, and we'll ask her, try to confirm. She always says she burnt down the block, and it's always at this box that we get her voice. So it's pretty intense. And out of all the ghosts, she's one of the clearest ones. So I think that's what freaks us out the most. Why this box? I don't know. It could be just the fact it's from the Holy Terror. This is a replica of the gold ore mill back in the day. We have the tycoon mill in the backyard. Some of this equipment is from Holy Terror, Deadwood, all over the place. They're mostly from out in the woods. So every time we get the ghost camera out, we get a giant, what would you say, 7, 8 feet? About 7.5 feet, right by the stamp mill. And whenever we've asked questions, he apparently ran the stamp mill. So he's very much attached to that stamp mill.
There's also ones up there, they like to play with the chain on the warp wagon.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep, you'll see it swaying once in a while when we do investigations. I've got a lot of stories here inside because I used to work up there.
So where are we at right now?
This is the bar and grill. This used to be the old saloon, and it has been burnt down at least 5 times that I know of by multiple different people throughout the centuries. But according to investigations, paranormal investigations, Jenny admits to burning this down. There has been rumors for centuries that a little girl fell down here. Multiple times recently, I think starting from like the 90s and after, people have done paranormal investigations here, and they all come to the same conclusion. Apparently a little girl came down here. The ones that I was involved in, apparently her name is Eve. She was 7 years old and pushed down this well, and they left her. A lot of people are scared of this well because apparently it moves. Doesn't look too bad. Now, the ghost upstairs, my name's George. And when I asked George the last investigation we did down here, I said, "George, are you here?" And he said, "Yep." So apparently George is attached to the restaurant, whoever George is. I don't know why I named him George, it's just what came to me. But upstairs, George likes to play with the fridge, and he will freeze the beers, which is a crime in itself. Multiple people. Now, the ghost upstairs,
And this brings us to the end of our Erie expedition. But if you recall the question I posed to you at the beginning of the expedition, I said, do you believe in ghosts? Well, do you now?